Hi, it's Vicky here and welcome to the last video of my spotlight on Tim Holtz week. Today I'll be making a tag using the globe from Tim Holtz, and I'll make a tag using techniques that I'm normally using on my art journal. So this is actually a proposal for you. If you feel that you are kind of afraid or you don't know how to start on your art journal, why don't you work on a tag? Working on a tag gives you a nice and smaller surface to work on, and you can experiment with all the techniques that you want to try out and decide what works for you and what's not. So as you have probably seen me doing again and again, first of all I covered up my tag using a tissue paper which is by Tim Holtz. I used my gel medium to stick it down, and then I applied a white wash of gesso. And now it's time to color the tag. The color that I'm using at the moment is wild honey, and I'm applying it with a baby wipe, and then I'll go ahead and add just a bit of rusty hints to add more interest on my background. It's always nice to mix colors on your background to make it interesting instead of having just a solid color wash. I am giving it a quick dry with my heat gun, and now I'm going to add some more shadows by introducing vintage photo. I'm applying vintage photo here and there with my baby wipe, and also use my fingers to blend everything. You can always go back and add even more color here and there until you feel happy with your background. I am quickly drying my tag, making sure that my distress paint is now permanent, and I can now use my vintage photo distress ink with a blending tool to ink up the edges. And now it's time to have some fun. So I'll be using embossing paste, the gold one and the black one. And I'm trying to decide which stencils I'll be using. So first of all, I'm going to use this clockwork stencil, and I'm going to apply some distress ink, that's vintage photo, just to create some interest back there. And now I'll go ahead and use my embossing paste. I'm applying embossing paste with the spatula, and this is the schoolhouse stencil. I'm going to add some stenciled letters here and there, and actually this adds tons of texture on my tag. And after these letters were dry, I'll go over it and apply some gold embossing powder. I'm just making sure that I'm going to apply those rays exactly where I want them to be. And I'm going to apply the gold embossing paste with my spatula. Now, although it looks a bit creamy at the moment, you will see that later on when this paste dries, it's going to be nice and shiny. Now, I'm going to leave the tag to dry, and I'll work on another tag, and I'll go ahead and stamp this globe. The globe comes from a new stamp set by Tim Holtz, and I'm stamping it using archival ink, black archival ink. So I'm making sure that I have a nice impression. As always, you can find a full list of supplies on my blog as well as below the video on YouTube. And now I'll go ahead and color the globe using my distress paints. This is peacock feathers. It's one of my favorite colors. I'm not making an effort to create any blendings or to add any shadows anywhere while I'm coloring the globe. I just want to have a first layer of colors, and you'll see how I'm going to add some side shadows and bring the globe to life later on. I have used my scissors to cut around the globe, and now with my craft knife, this is a craft knife by Tim Holtz, I'm making sure that I'm cutting out that white space around the globe. And once I have my globe nicely cut out, it's time to add the shadows. So first of all, I'm going to add some vintage photo around the brown areas of the globe. And then with my peacock feathers, distress ink, I'm going to cover up the whole globe. Now you'll see that although I'm going over the green areas, it doesn't really matter as the two colors blend nicely together and everything comes to life. It's more vibrant and better looking, I think. So I'm also adding some vintage photo around the globe and I'm finished with my focal point. Now all that's left to do is to add some bit of black soot at the bottom of the globe, and this will help the globe to pop out from the background. I am also using a black soot with my blending tool and apply ink all around the edges. And now it's time to stick the globe down. I'm using gel medium to stick it down, but at this point you can use any adhesive that you like. I'm planning to cover up the globe as well with gel medium, and this will seal it down, and it will also seal down the distress ink that I have used on top. I'm making sure that my brush doesn't have any water on it. It's just a dry brush that I'm dipping only to gel medium. I'm gonna give it a quick dry with my heat gun, and now it's time to add all the finishing touches. So I decided to go with one of these plates by Tim Holtz that says enjoy the journey. So I'm trying to pick out the correct one. And I have also went through my stash and find out other elements that I want to add to my tag. So from this Expedition Ephemera collection, I have decided to add a couple of elements that they are both red, to introduce some red on my tag. I'm sticking them down with gel medium, one on top of the other, to create a small cluster. Now I'm also going to use my crocodile and create the hole up there. And I'll go ahead and use my scissors to cut out all the elements that go outside my tag. At this point the tag is pretty much finished, but you can go ahead and work on it as much as you like and add as many elements as you want. So first of all I want to stamp something over that airplane. So I'm just going through my Tim Holtz stamps collection, and I'll just use my black soot. And I'll do some second generation stamping over that airplane as if it was stamped by the post office. Also I'm going to use my crocodile and add an eyelet on the hole. This is going to make my tag look more finished. And now I'll try to decide where this plate is going to go, so I decided to use some ribbon. This is actually seam binding, which I'm going to color with distress paint. The two colors that I'm using are the colors that I have already used. I'm spraying it with a little bit of water and now dipping the ribbon in. I have already also made sure that my ribbon is dry using my heat gun, and using the same two colors that I have already used on my tag, make sure that my ribbon is going to perfectly match the tag. Using the ribbon that I have just prepared, I'm going to tie the plate down on my tag. And as I'm doing that, just to remind you that there is an awesome giveaway on my blog that has been running the whole week. You still have some time to enter the giveaway if you haven't done so already, so make sure to visit my blog. And by tying that knot there, it pretty much finishes the tag for today. I hope you had fun and got inspired. And if you did, don't forget to give me thumbs up on my YouTube channel as well as leave me a comment. Thank you all for watching.